The Arizona sun had a way of stripping a person down to their truest form. And for Maya Rodriguez, that truth lived somewhere between exhaustion and unbroken resolve. She stood beside the rattling AC unit of Tor's auto repair, wiping grease from her hands as the heat shimmered across Sentinel Valley. At 32, Maya should have been designing spacecraft, not fighting rusted bolts for $12 an hour, yet the world had never cared much for what she should have been. It cared only for what she could survive. Her daughter, 8-year-old Sophia, sat in the back office scribbling rocket sketches on scrap paper, living proof of the brilliance Maya fought to protect. Their apartment was cramped, the bills unforgiving, and every breath between paychecks razor-thin. Still, Maya held her head high, moving through each day with the grit of someone who had learned endurance before hope. When old Pete Valdez dropped off a government surplus auction flyer, her eyes caught on one listing. A 45-acre industrial complex, former Dewey research site, selling for $2,000. Foolish, impossible, dangerous, yet something inside her stirred. It was not greed but a whisper, a fragile echo of who she once dreamed she could be. That night, long after Sophia fell asleep, Maya stared at the listing on her laptop, heart thudding as if the universe were nudging her forward. It wasn't logical, it wasn't safe, but it felt like a door cracking open in a life that had known only walls. The auction room looked nothing like the crossroads her life was about to encounter, just a basement with buzzing fluorescent lights, folding chairs, and a clerk who seemed bored by her own existence. Maya held Sophia's hand tightly, steadying herself against the rising tide of doubt. When lot 712 flashed on the projector, the room fell silent, as if the world were pausing to see who would be reckless enough to claim it. Maya raised her hand. 2,000. Her voice surprised even her, steady calm, the voice of someone who had chosen to leap. No counterbid came. In less than 12 seconds, she became the owner of 45 acres she had never seen. After signing endless paperwork, she walked out with $63 in her account and a knot in her stomach that felt equal parts terror and destiny. The dirt road to the property stretched endlessly, the desert swallowing sound and time. When the massive hangar emerged from the heat haze, Maya felt her breath lock in her chest. The padlock clicked open with the eerie ease of something waiting to be found. Inside, shadows swallowed the light until her phone's flashlight revealed the unthinkable. A delta-winged spacecraft towering in silence, its faded Soviet insignia whispering secrets buried for decades. Sophia gasped softly beside her. Maya stepped closer, pulse pounding, realizing she was standing before a piece of history no American civilian was ever meant to see. And somehow, impossibly, it now belonged to her. The deeper Maya ventured into the abandoned facility, the more reality blurred into something larger than her life had ever allowed. Her engineer's instincts kicked in instantly. Thermal protection tiles, alloy struts, cockpit configuration. This was no replica. This was Soviet spacecraft engineering at its rawest truth. But the real shock waited below. Sophia discovered the metal staircase first, her small voice echoing in the hangar as she called out to her mother. Every instinct told Maya to turn back, yet every responsibility told her she couldn't leave her daughter wandering into the unknown. They descended into a cold, metallic silence untouched for 30 years. Tunnels branched like arteries, leading to rooms filled with dead computers, maps pinned with forgotten missions, and crates marked with Cyrillic labels that sent chills down Maya's spine. Rare earth metals, classified ceramics, radiation-hardened electronics, materials worth fortunes and implications worth far more. One vault held refined isotopes, sealed alloys, and experimental compounds no civilian should ever possess. As Maya photographed everything, hands trembling, she understood the terrifying truth. Operation Skyfall hadn't been research. It had been acquisition. The United States had smuggled Soviet aerospace technology through the chaos of a collapsing superpower, studied it, then abandoned it beneath the desert with the arrogance that no one would ever uncover their secret. Yet here she was, a single mother with grease under her nails, standing in the center of a Cold War ghost that had chosen her, intentionally or not, to unearth its final chapter. The next days felt like living inside a storm no one else could see. Maya cataloged everything, sleeping little, driven by equal parts fear and responsibility. When she finally went to attorney Daniel Morrison, his face shifted from skepticism to alarm as she revealed photographs of Soviet schematics spread beneath her trembling hands. The FBI soon followed. Agents flooded the facility, confirming that Maya had stumbled onto over $300 million in Cold War intelligence, assets accidentally sold at public auction. Media descended like vultures. Overnight, Maya became a national headline. Single mother uncovers Soviet shuttle in desert bunker. Some praised her bravery, others called her opportunistic. Through it all, Maya focused only on Sophia, ensuring her daughter stayed unaffected by the frenzy outside. But threats soon arrived. A phone call from an unknown man offering $20 million to cooperate with the right people, followed by an attempted break-in at the facility. Fear pressed against her ribs like a vice. The government began negotiating a settlement to secure and preserve the artifacts, but every offer felt like a chess move in a game she barely understood. Still, Maya refused to be bullied or intimidated. She had uncovered history, and she intended to protect it, not exploit it, not surrender it. She would face the danger head-on, her resolve forged in every hardship she had already survived. Negotiations dragged into weeks, each meeting a battle waged with calm intensity. The government's initial offer insulted her, a mere $5 million for a discovery whose value stretched far beyond money. Daniel countered with an iron backbone, while Maya insisted on transparency, preservation, and educational impact. Money mattered, but meaning mattered more. The turning point came when she met Dmitry Vyulov, a former Soviet engineer who had worked on the very spacecraft now resting inside her hangar. Watching the elderly man's eyes fill as he touched the thermal tiles he once designed softened something in Maya. His stories, rich with pride and heartbreak, gave life to the metal and circuitry. This wasn't just classified material. It was the culmination of human ingenuity, sacrifice, and ambition. With Dmitry's insight, the museum vision deepened. Not just an American exhibit, but a historical reconciliation, honoring scientists from both sides of a divided world. Some officials bristled, preferring patriotic simplicity over complex truth, but Maya stood firm. She refused to let history be rewritten for convenience. The spacecraft deserved honesty. The engineers deserved recognition. The discovery deserved stewardship, not suppression. And through every heated debate, Maya realized she was no longer merely protecting her financial future. She was protecting the integrity of the past, shaping how generations would understand a story that had nearly been erased by secrecy. When the final settlement offer came, $75 million, Maya didn't react with the jubilation outsiders imagined. Wealth didn't erase responsibility. If anything, it sharpened it. She reviewed every clause carefully, ensuring the museum would be built in Sentinel Valley, ensuring scholarships would be funded, ensuring she would maintain a voice in how the artifacts were displayed. For Sophia's sake, she knew she had to accept, yet she also understood that accepting the settlement meant stepping into a new identity. No longer the anonymous mechanic, no longer the woman scraping by. Her life had ruptured open, offering possibilities she had never dared to imagine. Moving through the world was strange now. People stared, whispered, speculated. Some congratulated her with awe, others envied her with venom. But Sophia remained steady, her innocence anchoring Maya when the spotlight grew too harsh. At night, Maya lay awake questioning whether she was making the right choices, not just for herself, but for the history placed unexpectedly in her hands. She had always solved problems with tools and torque wrenches, but now she solved them with diplomacy, vision, and the unshakable conviction that truth mattered. And as she prepared to sign the agreement, Maya understood something profound. This discovery was no accident. It was a test of character, one she intended to pass with integrity and purpose. The day the Sentinel Valley Aerospace Heritage Center opened, the desert wind seemed to pause in reverence. Crowds gathered before the restored hangar, its doors thrown open to reveal the beautifully preserved Soviet test shuttle under soft, reverent lighting. Visitors stepped inside slowly, almost reverently, their voices hushed as if entering a cathedral. Maya walked alongside Sophia, watching students marvel at navigation computers older than their parents and historians debate Cold War implications, beside rows of alloy samples and classified schematics. Dmitry stood near the shuttle's nose, explaining the significance of a thermal tile patterned to a group of young engineers who listened with wide-eyed respect. In that moment, Maya felt something settle inside her, a sense of fulfillment deeper than the relief of financial stability. She had helped create a space where knowledge transcended borders, where former adversaries' creations were honored not as trophies of conflict, but as achievements of the human spirit. Reporters asked for comments, but Maya simply guided Sophia through the exhibits, pointing out circuit boards and explaining their purpose. The museum wasn't about fame. It was about legacy. About a world where a struggling single mother could rewrite her life not through luck alone, but through courage, discernment, and an unwavering refusal to compromise her values. Watching visitors leave inspired, she understood that she had turned danger into discovery, secrecy into education, and fear into purpose. That night, after the museum's triumphant opening, Maya and Sophia returned to their new home overlooking the valley. The desert sky glittered with stars, those same stars Maya